Right, and we're live, guys. Welcome to Coach's Corner. It's Coach's Corner, the best part of the stream. I didn't think we'd do it today, but I'm glad there is a Coach's Corner. What happened with work? Well, my plan was to be training staff today, training lifeguards to save lives and teach kids and motivate them to do better and motivate them to have fun at work and that kind of stuff. I got to work, an hour prior to the training, and there's no water in the pool. Fan-friggin-tastic. So between Friday night and today, something happened at the pool. Nobody was in on Saturday, and who knows? So I called around, and nobody had any idea. But one guy, he came in this morning by chance, and he said one of the butterfly valves for one of the filters broke, and the pool had drained. Fantastic. Thanks for letting us know. The last time I had this kind of issue, so back to my old days back in Ontario, we had a pool, a fairly large size pool, like a pretty, like Olympic size pool, just a little bit smaller. We had a commercial booked that morning at around 6 or 7 a.m. And it was one of those commercials where, they're like the Nestle commercials where they're falling into the pool and it's refreshing and that kind of stuff. So they had booked our pool for this, this commercial shoot, whatever. And I get a call around 2 a.m. Because one of the operations staff at one of these pools, or at the pool, he forgot he left the drain on. And he left it on, I don't know, around 11 midnight or so. I came back around 1:32, and the pool had nearly entirely drained, which is a huge issue with pumps, and, you don't want to be sucking air into the system. So I said, shit, we have a commercial shoot in the morning. Well, what did I do? I had a friend that is a fire captain, and I know there's always, he was working that night, so I called him up, hey, I have a big favor, can you bring some fire trucks down here? I need to fill this pool within a few hours. Sure enough, he came through for me, and he brought these fire trucks in, hooked them up, a couple hoses going in, a couple hours filled, no problem. So when we had that commercial shoot the next morning, or that morning, we let the guys know, hey, for your diver or whoever, your actor, whoever's getting in the water, just to let you know, we had a bit of an issue at the pool last night, and the water might be a little bit cold. A little bit. He's like, well, how cold is cold? Like 70? I'm like, no, like 50. Which is pretty cold, if you guys know what, your temperatures in waters and things like that. So, sort of like with guilds, you have an issue. Today I had an issue. What do I do? I have no water in my pool. Can I call fire trucks here in Vancouver to come fill up my pool? It's not that huge of a priority. No, thank you. Can I do that? No. What do? I have 60 staff coming in for this training, and I have nobody that's sort of, nothing I can do. Can I put water in myself? There's no way there's going to be enough time. So if there's an issue, like when we're going to tackle guilds today and all the issues that guilds have, if you have an issue, deal with it, Bitching won't help. I say sarcastically, sometimes to Driaz when she's having, some kind of issue. Like, what's really going to help here? Whining or bitching or complaining. It doesn't help. Just get it done.
Feel better.
It does make you feel better, right? But ultimately, what are you going to get done? As guild leaders, as raid leaders, or whatever, we are problem solvers. We want to know the entire picture. How do we solve this problem? We love puzzles. Shit, Sudoku, crosswords, whatever. Those are our kinds of puzzles. Finding what strat works for us as a raid leader, that's my puzzle. I want to solve it, and we'll cover all those things today. Yeah, fire trucks in the field pool. It was pretty good. And hello, those of you that are logging on now. Yeah, it was a fun time. A fun time overall. Okay, so we're going to do a couple things sort of while I talk. I've got a whole, bunch of topics I want to cover. I'll be going through questions back and forth like we always do. Let me fuss. It helps bitching. So we're going to do a couple things. I want to do some Horde LFR runs, if you people are on Horde. For those of you that are on Horde, we can do some Horde runs here. I need a couple more secrets on this while I talk about guilds. And you guys can always, put in your 2 cents or ask questions as we go from topic to topic. But if we're sort of going through, recruitment, don't ask me, what class is the best raid leader? Because we'll cover that later. And then, if there's things in that topic that you have certain questions, please ask them. I want to answer as many as I can. So we'll get through it here. So in the meantime, if you guys want to come along to Horde side LFRs, okay, we'll be doing Throne of Thunder.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll be doing Throne of Thunder LFRs, just something really easy. I'd appreciate help with these, just so I can finish off my secrets. Hopefully, I don't think I did Throne of Thunder this week yet. I'm pretty sure I have not, because all we did this week was flexes on both Horde and Alliance side. You open Norshan normal mode, I've got a great little guide for you right here. Follow that. There's a 10-man guide for Norshan as well. Comprehensive guide. Evil Sparty 1728 is the battle tag for this one. Dead man's coming perfect.
I'll log over in just a second.
Yeah, okay, no problem. No. Yeah, logs help out a lot. If you have questions regarding certain fights, logs always help out. I'm not really going to cover logs too much today, much at all, but next week I'd like to. Yeah, guys, just whisper me. You're all welcome to come along to these LFRs. We're doing Throne of Thunder again, just to finish up my secrets, and then I can hopefully be done with Throne of Thunder for a while. So I thank you for the Facebook reply. I was able to say that you are perfectly good. I'm glad everything worked, and you're welcome, Keebler. Yeah, the README there hopefully was self-explanatory, and most people have not had issues. Have they followed my instructions there? I tried to make them as simple as possible for people. Okay, Shaniqua is coming too. Let me put on my Ludovico, and we'll get going here in a sec. So it's been like 2 weeks now. I'm looking for another guild. I have the worst luck due to Worlds. What? Today I logged in to find out there had been a fight and the raid team separated due to words. Like, mean words? Were they mean to each other? Oh, Zadanar. Everybody fights. Families fight, friends fight. People say words they don't mean sometimes, and it's all part of growing up. And if your guild fell apart because they had mean words with each other, well, it sounds like they weren't grown up enough to start raiding. Okay, more friends requests here. Perfect, thank you guys. Bookster, Alex, Green Dish, yeah, whisper me. Now we're just doing LFR, Stone Thunder once. Well, that's just me. Like, that stuff doesn't belong. That's sort of like the value. We're going to cover that, Zadanar. The types of guilds you want to be in, right? And the kinds of guilds that you want to create. Let me just set this LFR run up here, and we'll get going. Green Dish, Bookster. Like, we like to joke around with each other, but nothing that's mean. Mean or derogatory or racist or whatever. Panic Prone, Arathmus coming perfect, perfect. Loves the beef. This makes me laugh here. Yeah, Freezing, sure, come along. Come carry. Noise Marine's coming too to come tank. There's Freezing. There's Noise Marine. Okay. Sound a little bit. Hopefully it's not too loud. Maybe a little bit too loud. That should be okay. Okay, we're about a half full here. If anyone else wants to come along, let me know. I'm still waiting on Driez.
Not log on?
No, you just log on now. I know. Give me a sec. Yeah, you can queue for multiple roles here, guys. We're going to go through a couple quick LFRs, or as many as you guys can stomach. I understand that Throne of Thunder can be pretty boring. Is there a way to spot immature guilds? That's a good question. I invited you. Why'd you decline? You declined.
I didn't decline.
Yes, you did.
Oh, it was a boo-boo.
Is there a way to spot immature guilds? Yes and no. Some people have asked me, what is the average age of your guild? And I tell them, it's 25, 26, 27. I would say that's the average age of the guild. People are, between 20 and 30. That's roughly where it is. Is that a general indicator of maturity? Sure. But we could have, a bunch of really racist, sexist, immature 25, 30-year-olds, right? That does happen. But more often than not, that is not the case. If they are younger people, the younger kids, teenagers, we are all young and stupid at one point. Some of you still are. We were all like that, right? If the average age of your guild is 17, those kind of remarks might be a little bit more prevalent. Hey, Sparty, I got a picture of my daughter with my headset, or saying she wanted to listen to the guy on the computer. I said I was going to watch Coach's Corner tonight. That's awesome, Bookster. That's awesome. Hello to your daughter. That's really cool.
No swear.
I know. I'm trying to make, really, no, yes. Nice words today, though. There'll be nice words only. What is the youngest I would take? I've taken 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds in my guild. And that was years ago. I took a 15-year-old hunter named Marksman back in Molten Core. Right now, he's my top hunter in Mists of Pandaria. He is my top hunter right now. Well, he's also the most senior hunter. That's sort of what I meant. See the turnover rate? Well, unless it has an indicative number, Captain Keith, the turnover rate. No, we're going to go through the first one. Anyone else? No? Okay, I'm going to queue us up then.
First one?
Yeah, last stand of the Zandalari. Because a bunch of these guys can't go anyway. Okay, we're going to queue us up. Queue for multiple rolls. See you, hero. Okay. So while we queue up here, guild making. How do you make a guild? Well, the answer is really simple. You go to the guild vendor in Stormwind or Mudhut Town, Orgrimmar, and you say, hey, I'd like to start a guild. You find some nice people. Ideally, you have people already wanting to make this guild with you. You get them to sign your charter, and your guild is done. Then you kick them out of the guild. Done. That's the simple answer, right? Very, very simple answer. But it's a lot more involved. Sorry, you missed an invite there, Oscar. Sorry. A little slow.
Do we have to queue again?
No, we'll be fine. We're just going to get going.
You let me know when it pops or whatever?
It popped.
Oh.
There we go. So, creating your guild, it's more than just, a tabard and a name. The name is important, though. In my opinion, anyway, the name is important. Guys, I'll answer your questions a bit here, but it'll be mostly sort of me talking and blabbing, Avril. So what's in a name? The guilds that I've been a part of, the guild name sort of represents who you are. Often you can choose between, a guild that sort of describes you. If you had a guild called Stupid College Kids That Make Racist Remarks, Zadanar over here would know not to join that guild. Right? If those guilds were, their names were a little bit more indicative of their playing, a little bit easier. But there's all kinds of guilds out there. I like to make little generalizations, stereotypes of guilds, but that's what humans do. If you have a stupid guild name, I think you're full of stupid people. I'm totally wrong in some situations, and that may be one of them. But your guild name sort of reflects on who you are. Well, my guild name's Death Jesters. What does that mean? Why did we choose Death Jesters? Well, back when we created this guild, with a bunch of Canadians, myself, my brother, a bunch of Swedes, a couple of South Africans. We played on the PTR together, and we just landed on Stormwind, and we said, hey, let's create a guild. So when we voted on guild names, we had different ideas, and we wanted to vote on them. I had really cool names, like Lord of the Rings kind of names. Things like Shadowed Soul and The Relentless, Element of Darkness, probably like guild MMO names. Some of the guys that came from Dark Age of Camelot, they wanted Death Jesters because that was their sort of old guild name. And, whether it be Latin names like Coterie Nocturne or whatever kind of names you guys had there in whatever games you played, those are really cool names too. So your name, the name that you choose for your guild, You know, number one, you can choose that as, you know, with the people that you're creating the guild with, which is what we did. We voted on it. I lost. It doesn't matter to me. I love the guild name. You know, I love Death Jesters. That's sort of who we are. Well, we laugh in the face of death. We like to wipe and we laugh. You know, we kill shit and we laugh, and that's totally fine. Yeah, exactly, Freezing Hero. That's exactly the kind of guild that I would avoid. The come-on-her-face ones. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, when I played EverQuest, there was many really cool guild names, and people took a lot of pride in their guild. You know, if you have an awesome-sounding guild name, that guild sounds awesome. That's great, because when people, you know, look at your guild name, they see, you know, who you are. That sounds really cool. I wonder what those people are all about. You know, if your name is something really stupid, well, I sort of think that the guild's full of people like that, right? Think of your guild name, the tabard you wear, as your uniform. For those of you that work and you have a uniform or whatever, or you go to school and you wear uniforms, you represent your school or your work in whatever you do. If you act like, you know, some giant jackalope out in the real world, well, when the people see you, they're like, well, I guess that guild's full of, you know, people like that. They don't generally say, well, I guess one slipped through the cracks. You know, I guess the guild could be full of awesome people, but that one person, the one that is trolling everybody, the one that is, you know, spouting racist remarks in trade chat and linking Thunder Furies and whatever else, he's just an outlier. He's probably, you know, just a random guy in that guild. That's awesome, Malazar. My guild is called something epic. That's, you know, pretty good one. My old guild used to be called Twinings, like the tea. I love the Earl Grey tea. Twinings. Maybe they were big tea drinkers. You know, if you have a guild named, I don't know, Followers of Jean-Luc Picard, well, hopefully you're all Trekkies, right? And you like Star Trek, obviously TNG over, you know, Deep Space Nine. So, find a guild name that really represents you. You know, find a guild that represents your ideals. What do you want to be all about? Yeah, you can hero. Oh, there we go. There's hero. You know, find a guild that is all about you. Or, sorry, when you create a guild, your ideals. You know, what do you want to represent? Do you want to be known as, you know, good raiders? Do you want to have a PvP guild? Do you want to have a casual guild? Do you just want to have a guild to chat with people? Then things like that don't matter as much. So if you have a raiding guild, well, is Heart of Redemption Guild good? I think it's an awesome name, sure. Yeah, if you have people that, you know, or if you're in a casual guild, your name may not matter as much. But I take pride in everything that I do. You know, the company that I work for, you know, the organization that I'm part of, I'm proud of everything.
Lightning Storm 1.
They're stuck in. So whether it be just simply a cool name or whatever, find a good one. Find a good one for your guild. I mean, even if you copy some other guild's name, that's totally fine. Who cares? I mean, there's plenty other Death Jesters out there. There was always one that competed with us. I don't know where they came from. I know some of the people that have left the guild over the years. They tried to make their own Death Jesters, unsuccessfully, of course, which is, you know, just totally fine. Yeah, but find a good guild name. And then set your goals. So again, do you want to be a raiding guild? Do you want to be a PvP guild or a casual guild? I mean, if it's just a bank guild, then it doesn't really matter at all. But what are your goals? So those things you should have set aside. You know, plan those things. The more you plan ahead of time for creating this guild, the easier it'll be. The worst thing is, you know, you sort of making things up as you go along. That's a lot of work. It is really, really stressful. It's just way too much. What server did I play EverQuest on? On Kha'Zix-Thul. On Kha'Zix-Thul, and I played... Oh, there's a secret. Perfect. I played Kha'Zix-Thul from the start of Kunark to the end of Luclin. And I had a very good time raiding. An amazing time. So go back to planning. Plan as much as you can out ahead of time. You know, things may change, and that's fine, but have a plan going through it. Next idea, you know, do you want to go 10 or 25 men in your guild? What are the perks? What sucks, you know, between 10 and 25 men? Well, difficulty aside, let's not talk about difficulty because, you know, I always win this argument. 10 or 25s, I mean, they're both fully capable, you know, fully respected raid difficulties, whether you're in Paragon in 10 men or Method or Blood Legion in 25 men. They're both great raiding difficulties. Now, you know, I focus most of my stuff around raiding and not so much the PvP aspect of it. Or the more casual guilds. With those guilds, with 25 men, some of the biggest arguments, pros and cons. For those of you with computers that can't handle much of raiding, like, you know, you can't afford a great computer, do 10 mens. You know, 10 mens are a lot less taxing on your computers. 10 mens fully capable of killing bosses, both on normal and heroic. Go with 10 mens. That's it. You know, that's one big reason that people do 10 mens. Another big reason they do 10 mens, you feel a lot more of a stronger bond with your raiders. There's only, you know, 10 of you, 11 of you, 12 of you, whatever. And you feel that much closer bond. You know, feel part of a team rather than people sitting out or whatever. Whereas in 25 men's, people like that epic feeling of, you know, hey, I'm part of a huge guild, you know, it's a huge raid team, we have this giant army, we're gonna go slay some dragons, that's our guild. Some guilds, I know some guilds with so many raid teams, they have, I don't know, there's one guild on Stormrage here that has, well, really 2 guilds, they've run out of spots. They have 2 guilds on Alliance side, 1 guild on Horde side, they have tons of raid teams, they're just a massive Mongolia, they're the Mongolia of Stormrage. They just have so many people. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean,
run out of room in the guild?
Yeah, like we have, how many do we have in our Alliance guild? We have like 800 and so many people. Then the cap is 1,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in terms of characters, and we're eventually going to run out, so I'm going to have to start, you know, figuring out what to do at that point. But that's still, I think...
Actually pick the people who haven't been online in 6 years?
Yeah, like I might have to actually remove people out of the guild. It's silly. I have people in my roster that have not been online in, you know, 6 years, but they're still part of my guild, you know. Some of them still log on the forums and say hello or whatever, but they're still part of the guild. And I, like, very rarely ever remove people. Very rarely. Yeah, Captain makes a good point here regarding raiding guilds. You know, you don't have to be in a 14 out of 14 heroic guild to enjoy progression. Every guild progresses differently, people progress differently, some learn, you know, faster, some learn slower, some have 30 hours a week to raid, some only have 4 hours a week to raid. As long as you're having fun in the game, as long as you're learning, as long as you're progressing, that's all that matters, right? You know, when I teach swimming, and parents complain, you know, my child cannot swim, it's the first friggin' lesson, why isn't he swimming 25 meters? It's his first lesson, he's never been in the water before, and he's 5 years old, or 3 years old. I mean, your expectations are a little bit high, and I try to bring them back down to earth. Hey, you know, the average, you know, pass-fail rate or complete rate for a kid is they will do 1 level every school year. So you know how they, you know, pass a class every year? Expect 1 full level every year. It takes kids multiple times, and sure, there's the miracle children out there that know how to swim.
I swam like a fucking fish.
Like a friggin' fish. Like a darn fish.
Sorry, like a darn fish.
Like a darn fish.
I could swim underwater when I was like 1.
Yes, so Driaz was a little fish. Some kids swim, you know, swim slower. You know, they don't learn as well, but they have other great talents. And you try to tell that to the parents because parents are embarrassed, you know, that their friends' kids are learning to swim much quicker than theirs. Well, you know what? Invest in some private lessons or whatever, or spend some time, you know, in the pool with your kids, practicing. Anyway, that aside, people learn, people progress at different rates. That's the whole point of the little point that I was trying to make here. Okay, let's move up here. Now, when you start a guild, people often ask me, you know, Sparty, should I start my own guild? And the thing that I always tell you guys is no. No, I mean, if you want to start a guild, I always say no. It is a ton of work, if you guys want to start a guild, fine. I mean, I will help you as much as I can. I'm not going to do things for you, but I'll give you all the tips that I've learned over the years, what to do, what not to do, what may work for your guild, what may not work for your guild, and suggestions, things like that. But leading a guild, I've led this guild for 9.5 years. The previous guild in EverQuest was about 3 years, and I've been a part of a couple different guilds, and I've sort of seen what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and what works for some guilds. But depending on your progression, your raiders, that kind of stuff, you might just have to adapt your styles. Yeah, not everyone can be the next Michael Phelps. Exactly. It does take some time. Not everybody's a superstar, and as much as you'd like, you to be a superstar or your children to be superstars, it's not always going to happen. You might have to settle for golf instead. That's shots fired at golf. If you are starting, let's say, a raiding guild, let's say your name is, I don't know, Jackalope number 4, and you are a little princess. No, you're a little dwarf priest, because dwarf priests always have an ego, and you would like to start a raiding guild. My first suggestion is have some raiding experience. Myself as a raider, I would never even think about starting a PvP guild, because I don't do PvP. I have very little experience besides, Season 1 Arena. The odd PvP here or there. I don't care much for PvP. It's not my cup of tea. Do I know a ton about, if I was in a pet battling guild, I would not start one of those either, because
First door open soon.
my knowledge of PvP or pet battles is very low, very limited. Or a transmog guild where everybody must, look perfect. I wouldn't start those kinds of guilds. If you want to be part of a raiding guild, or you want to start a raiding guild, my suggestion is make sure you have some experience raiding, so you know what works in some raiding guilds. Or have experience as an officer in a raiding guild. That works too. People that make good guildies are often past guild leaders, past officers, past raiders. Is golf really expensive? Well, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We tell kids. Well, we just joke around, Maybe your kid can't swim. You should take up a different sport if they've been failing for 5 years. So, guild leading, being an officer is a ton of work. It's unrewarding. Nobody wants to do it. There we go. Charge on me.
Double swipe.
It's a ton of work, and you never want to do these things. Like, it just absolutely sucks. No one really thanks you. Hey, man, you're a great raid leader, or a great guild leader. No.
First door
They bitch at you when you yell at them for them standing in, stupid things, standing in fire or whatever. So, it's, it's a job that nobody wants to do, or very few people want to do, and it's a thankless job, right? But somebody has to do it, and there's not enough people that want to be raid leaders or are good at it. There's not enough. There needs to be more. And those of you that want to put yourself through the punishment, I applaud you. It takes a lot of work. With me personally, blood, sweat, tears, all literally for the guild. It's been good and bad, and every guild has its high and lows, and you learn through experience, and you find out what works for you and what doesn't.
Double swipe.
The best advice I can give you guys, so for some of you it's too late already. Whenever you're part of a raiding guild and you're doing really well, you're really helpful because you're awesome, you're really great, you want to contribute to the guild because you want to see it succeed. If your GM comes up to you and offers you an officer position in that guild, always say no. Always say no. And I sort of joke with that. But it's a ton of work that nobody wants to do. Does anyone help, thank our officers for what they do? Our raid leaders, their cooldowns, things like do. Sometimes, it's not like I appreciate all the work my officers do. Without them, there's no way I'd be able to get anything done. They do a fantastic job. Aloria does great with recruitment. Driaz and Brand do great with, helping out with the raid, whether it be setting cooldowns or swaps or loot or whatever. Having a good support system in place is really, really necessary. Which sort of leads me to the next thing, a guild structure. Guilds have different structures. I've seen multiple things to work, whether it be, you know, that one guy, that benevolent dictator GM that knows what to do, that does everything. You know, that guy does, you know, from raid leading to website management to recruitment to training the other players to everything. That one guy, he does everything, or she. He does everything. And speak from experience, and being that guy,
Charging.
it is a quick way to burn out. It is an absolute quick way to burn
Double
out.
swipe.
When I did that, you know, for years, and you know, I had some officers helping out here and there and that kind of stuff, but you really have to delegate properly. You know, having those officers really support you is, you know, it's absolutely needed. You have to have them. You know, I played for years, and you know, what's that? Yeah, I played for years, and yeah, I was burnt out. But what can I do as a guild leader? I can stop playing, sure. I can go take a vacation. Yeah, right.
Watch out.
And then what? You know, who do we leave things to? Well, you know, if I stop, then because I don't have a great support system in place, the guild's going to fall apart. And all the work that I've put in, well, it'll be for all for naught. Right, all for nothing.
Double swipe.
No, no secret. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So, you know, I've seen some systems work. Some guilds use a council system, so they have, you know, 5 or 6 officers, or how many people they want in that council, and they all vote on things, and it's all democracy, and that's fine. If that works for your guild, great. My guild, for me, not so much. I'm personally more of that guy that this is how I want things done, and that's it. You know, it's Sparty's way or the highway, and that's it. Pro and cons of that, of the Sparty way or the highway, well, it all rests on your shoulders. The success and failure of the guild is all on you. Where, you know, other people, my veterans, my officers, they'll give me, you know, what they think, you know, suggestions for how to run things, whatever. Yeah, you know, you take it all in and you implement a lot of those things, but ultimately, as the GM, as the guild leader of your guild, you make those decisions. And whether they be good or bad, it's your responsibility. You own up to them, and you know, if you succeed or if you fail, it's all on you. But if you succeed, it's usually, you know, thanks to your officers. Usually. When you make an officer of death gestures, condolences are given instead of grats. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. I know of some guilds that elect their officers, and those are other top rating guilds, where they elect their officer. You know, it sort of seems like a popularity contest, which is what I think most of those turn out to be. Sorry, phrasing for the bot view. But see, I don't know how that would work. You know, the people that get elected, well, they're responsible for doing certain things, and they have constant little referendums or votes where if so-and-so officer is not doing a good job, well, they're voted out of the position. And the logic behind that, when I spoke to the GM, he said that the people that want to be officers, well, they'll put in the effort. You know, there's none of this, he's an officer because they were around for this long, or they only do a little bit, or whatever. But if they don't, you know, sort of lead by example and do everything they need to, they're demoted out of the position. So that constantly encourages new people to come flourish into it, or people to keep stepping up, putting in that same effort. So you don't have those officers that did a little bit for a little while, or did a lot for a little while, and then just slack off entirely, and just sit there in their little officer channel, you know, complaining about raiders. That's definitely something you don't want. Yeah, they can vote for other people. Sure, Devils, that works. You know, I don't have tons of experience with that system, but if it works for your guild, great. You know, totally great. With my guild in particular, I also give you guys the breakdown of what I use. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put you on follow, okay? Woman? Lady?
What?
I'm gonna put you on follow for a second.
Okay.
There. Okay. With my guild in particular here, where's there? With my guild in particular, I have a couple different things here. So let's go into guild control. These are my ranks. There's the GM, and these haven't changed really from vanilla. I have guildmaster as myself. We have my officers, and officers, if you're an officer, you're an officer for life, pretty much. I have officers that don't do anything for raiding anymore. They do absolutely nothing for raiding. But I still value their opinions. They were great officers to me in my guild during that time, and they're still respected, in the guild. Guys like Ulf and Cub and Rootleaf and One Morph at Atmai, they play a little bit here and there, but they don't do anything inside the actual raiding. I have one officer that sort of comes on here and there, and he cleans up the guild bank for us. That's still plenty of help to me. It saves me a lot of time. I have my veterans here. My veterans are really the leaders of the guild. They've been in the guild for a long time. They represent the ideals of the guild. They've mentored other potential applicants, into getting into the guild, and they're great players too. So those are the requirements of being a veteran in my guild. You have the full members. Full members, they're full raiding members because it's a raiding guild. We sort of center everything around raiding. Our full members, they're full, they have all the perks and benefits of being a full member, whether it be streaming stuff, or they're able to vouch for a friend or a family member to invite them into the guild. We don't just recruit anybody. We, either you're a raider, one of these guys, or initiates or apps, or you're a friend here. And with friends, somebody has to vouch for you. They put their membership on the line, and they're telling me, hey, me as, Ariana, I have a friend. That friend is not going to tarnish the name of Death Jesters, and if they do, Sparty, then you can kick my friend as well as me out of the guild. That's how they put membership on the line. I have retired players here as well. There, I'll just sort of put you on follow. There. Don't pull the bus.
I'm not.
We have retired members as well, and this used to be called casual. It used to be called casual, but I think there were I know there were too many negative connotations with being called, either you're a full member or you're a casual, and nobody wants to be that dirty casual. Nobody wants to. But we call it retired. You are a retired raider. You're a raider, you're still respected in the guild, you earned your spot, but now you're just retired. And I have a lot of, retired people that don't play anymore, but, they were great raiders. Whether it be Hipster or Thorgals or Vlatos or whatever. They were full members at some point. Then I have my initiates and applicants. So once you get a trial spot into the guild, you are tagged as an applicant. And as an applicant, we sort of see your skill, whether you're ready for heroic raiding and that kind of stuff. And that phase usually lasts about 2 weeks, give or take, many different factors. Everybody's different. Like I said, everybody learns swimming at different rates. Everybody progresses in the guild at different rates. So it's usually around 2 weeks at least, at the very minimum 2 weeks. Then there's the initiate phase. The initiate phase usually lasts about a month. And in that initiate phase, we're continually looking at your skill and whether you're ready for raiding, but it is more, do we see your personality as fitting in the guild long term? Because personality, that's huge for me. That's absolutely huge. I've always said here on stream too, and in my philosophy, that having, it's not worth having an awesome player. It's not worth having, the best warlock in the world. Let's say we had Sparkugs in my guild for some odd reason. Even though Sparkugs is one of the best warlocks in the world, if Sparkugs was a giant dick, or a small dick, or just a giant, like a guy that nobody wanted to hang around with, and I'm not saying he is, I'm sure he's an awesome guy, but he would not be worth me having him in the guild. And that's my personal belief. Other guilds disagree. They don't care what your personality is like. Whether you're that mean-spirited, racist, sexist kind of guy, whatever comments you make in the guild chat, we don't care, as long as you're a good raider, because that's all we care about. My opinion, that doesn't make for a good guild long-term. I've seen many guilds fall apart. I've seen a lot of those stupid high school guilds fall apart like that, too. Where they just don't have the longevity. Yeah, sure they can raid, and sure they'll get some realm first, but where are those guilds now? Where are they now? Well, they're not around anywhere. They go from server to server, transferring because they can't find a guild or their guilds fall apart, or no guild likes them. And what's the common denominator?
Spirit incoming.
Well, it's that one guy that's in this, like, that's constantly getting kicked out of those guilds because he doesn't fit anywhere. Yeah, he's a great player, but is it worth, you know, faction and server transfers because nobody likes you? I mean, sure, stick around with those whatever guilds, whatever. Sparking's nice and doesn't really fit. I know, I'm just saying, you know, it's an example. I've had other warlocks in my guild that were fantastic players, but they were giant dickholes, or, you know, their rental contract expired. Or they were just selfish scumbaggers, and that's not what I want in my guild. It's not worth it, you know, it's not worth having those kinds of warlocks in my guild. Yeah, sure, they top the meters, and that's fine for progression, but long term, they don't fit in. And, you know, having them leave, or asking them to leave, that was the best thing for the guild, right, long term. You know, sure, sort of not great to use them for progression, but long term, I knew their tenure in the guild would expire.
Attack spirit.
There, stunning. So it's never worth having those people that create the drama in the guild, whether it be, you know, an annoying or really hot girl, and we've had that too, where we've had, you know, girls in the guild that try to exert their feminine wiles on, you know, on people within the guild or whatever, and those never fit either. Which is why some guilds have that, you know, no females allowed. You know, to each their own. You know, it might work, it might not. That's great, good actually. That's great. Also, not great. Yay, secret's finished. Fantastic. Okay, one sec. I need to go turn this in. Thank you guys for running that with me. I appreciate it. Let me go turn it in really quick. Awesome. Secret's done. So yes and no. I mean, some people are worth having around like that. It depends on your guild, but long term, you know, for your own stress levels as officers, as guild leaders, it's not worth having them around at all. Okay, let me go turn this thing in, and we'll do a new raid. What's next? Runestones, do I have to do anything else? Where's this stupid thing here? Okay, give me one sec, guys. Give me one sec. How do people push themselves through farming legendary quest line? Just do it. I mean, you play, you know, stuff to upgrade your character. My guy, through just doing flexes, LFRs, heroic scenarios, as you can see here, he's 545 item level. No, he's actually none. Not tonight. Yeah, we're gonna work on runestones next. I need to turn this stuff in first, though.
Are you gonna do that now?
Yeah, I'm turning it in right now. So just give me one sec. So with GMs, with guild leaders, with whatever, some GMs, well, they're just figureheads. They don't actually do anything. They just keep the guild name. And I've seen some guilds work like that just fine. But I believe that the GM, they lead by example. You know, you having a GM that sort of sucks at raiding in a raiding guild, well, it might not be a great thing. Thunderforge. I have to do Thunderforge now? Oh, this is not good.
Takes a while.
Takes a while? Okay, I'm not going to do this then.
I think so. The Thunderforge?
Yeah, Thunderforge took a while.
What is it again?
I have to unlock the Thunderforge. Well, I've unlocked it. Complete Rathian's task. I've unlocked it.
Right, yeah, it's that little scenario that he makes you do.
Can I do it now, or?
You can do it now. It just, you know, takes like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, I should probably do it. So we can do another LFR maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a solo scenario.
Yeah, it is.
I guess I should go to Throne of Thunder, or Isle of Thunder.
That would help.
Yeah, or Nalak. I have to do all that crap. Okay, well, I'll go...
The Nalak part you may need help with.
Yeah, I'll probably get you guys. Okay, guys, I'll do another LFR in a bit here, but I'm going to keep talking and start flying over. Yeah, I'll do another thing. Spray of a 540 Holy Paladin. Can you do LFR, Siege of Orgrimmar, and Flex, and get secrets from both? I'm pretty sure you cannot. I'm pretty sure you cannot do that. But I mean, some of them drop from different places, but I don't believe you can do them at the same time or within the same week.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
It's a chance off the boss combined, like,
Right.
on all difficulties throughout.
Right. So if I were to do, secrets on this character in Siege of Orgrimmar, I can't do rune stones on the character same bosses. They will not drop. So we'll get this done really quick here and complete Rathian's task. Yeah, I gotta go meet him there. Okay, cool. So back to guilds and people that you want or don't want in a guild. I mean, if you want those people, those warlocks that, like the scumbag and the ones that, like to talk a lot of shit in your guild, that's fine. But that doesn't work for me, Those people just get cut loose immediately. They're done. Or until I'm done with them. But you sort of have to learn, through experience. I've had really awesome tanks, some of the best tanks ever in my guild, but they were terrible to raid with. They were just whiny bitches, and they complained, and they brought down the mood for everybody. They were awesome tanks, and when things were going great, they were awesome. But as soon as people started wiping, and people, some bosses take 100 attempts, right? They got all negative Nancy, and nobody wants to raid with them, ever. They were just terrible to raid with. So those people just aren't worth raiding with, in my opinion. Like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the stress and the hassle and the sleepless nights. I put a lot of work into my guild, a lot of passion and heart, and I give it everything that I've got. And if there's issues in the guild, that stuff keeps me awake at night. I don't get to sleep sometimes because I'm there worrying about whatever, worried about my raid team or having enough people or whatever. But you have to be. I mean, if you really care about your guild that much, you put in that much work, you put in that much passion. Mr. in our raid team had good Mr. about a complainer. Yeah, it's easier for me. So when we look at people, it's easier for me to find a player that is, a good person that wants to raid, that is sort of like, he's a good raider, but he's not awesome, or she. I can turn that good raider into a great raider, no problem. I've trained tons of people to be great raiders and shown them what to do. Whereas you can't really change that whiny personality. You can't change those negative Nancys into positive Pollys. Is that a thing? No. I just made that up right now. Yeah, you can't. It's just a no. A big no. We're going through there. So, find the kind of people that you want. When you are looking for people, and, your initial bunch of people that you are with, hopefully they're your friends. You got to find like-minded individuals. And we're going to cover recruitment as well. Where do you recruit? How do you recruit? How much time does it take? It takes quite a bit of time. Yeah, what link there for you visit. That is a great resource. You can go to the Sparkugs one, or you can go to Icy Veins to start learning how to play a Warlock. Those are great little resources. But please do not use Noxic. Please do not ever use Noxic for a resource, or for learning anything, for that matter. Even the Diablo guides for Noxic are terrible. Do not.